Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Fabulous Show, the Fab Show we call it. My name is Tamara Hunter and I am this week's host. This is the show where we explore our fabulous lives with subject matter experts, a panel of them. And this is a special 3-day weekend here in the United States. We call it Memorial Day weekend, and we are celebrating it with our panelists. So what do you think, guys? Let's talk. I am so honored. Honored is the word I want to use right now. We're going to be using it a lot today because we're going to be honoring and we're going to be remembering and much more. I am honored to share this week's panel with all of you. And what I want to do right now is I want to go around what we call the room. Yes, it's an open house, as you know. That's always the way we run this show. And so what I would like for each one of our guests to do is let us know your name. Where are you today? And just in a sentence or two, what is it that you do right now? Okay, so let's start. I am going to start with Daniel.
All right, my name is Daniel Faust out of Dover, Delaware, and I do veteran transformation.
Excellent, excellent. Jim Grant.
Hi, I'm Jim Grant. I live in Brenham, Texas. I'm a retired Master Sergeant Vietnam veteran, and I consider it a privilege and an honor. And thanks to Tamara Sue, my sweet sister, for inviting me to be a part of this panel. Thank you.
Love you. Love you. Okay, Kevin.
Kevin Russell from Shreveport, Louisiana. We have an equine assisted program to give hope back to those that have served for us that are suffering from post-traumatic stress.
Excellent, excellent. And Dr. Barbara.
Hi, I'm Barbara Hopkinson, and I'm north of Boston. And I have a couple of nonprofits for resilience after loss, so helping people recover from all different kinds of grief after several personal losses myself. But thank you, Tamara, and I'm so happy to be on with you again.
Oh, I am thrilled that you are here with us. Okay, so sometimes we have a digital sidekick that helps to kick the show off. And I actually asked especially Joy Willett, who is a part of this production team. However, today she is off. She'll be in the comments. Yet she submitted a video to help us set the mood and to start off the show. Here we go.
Happy Memorial Day. Isn't it wonderful that you and I can celebrate this time because we have been given freedom by all of the brave men and women, service animals over the centuries. And here we are enjoying beautiful nature, and people are going to have their barbecues and family gatherings. Most important, it's time to thank you, service people, and all of those who gave their lives so that we could be free and celebrate this beautiful country this weekend.
Thank you, Joy. All right, so let's have some fun. You know what, guys? I often will tell you, and Skip, so glad to see you today. I often will tell you to have a box of tissue handy if I think that there might be something that's going to prompt it. Well, guess what? I've already gone through a few of them because I prepared for this show. I know what's coming. Yeah, you know what, you guys, also, I want you to have a pen and paper because there's going to be some tips that I think that there are going to be many that are going to need to write down a name, write down a nonprofit, write down a show, write down something that's you'll be able to check into later. And also, I don't often say this, but share the show out, share it out to those. And if you know someone that could really be touched by the show, we want them in either live or replay to have an opportunity to hear from our wonderful panel. So let's start. I am going to actually pick on a few people here, and I'm going to start with Daniel. Daniel, you are a veteran, correct?
A mixture of both right now. I am a reservist out of Dover, Delaware, and I've been out of active duty for 12 years. So kind of a hybrid right now, almost fully veteran, but not there yet.
Okay, all right. And okay, so I have some fun stuff. Here you go. Guys, this is what
Oh man, wow, I'm ashamed of those things. That's like, did you hack my phone? I haven't posted that thing in years. Wow. All right.
Okay, so all right, so we have that, and then you're part of a book situation that with a good friend that Robert, a very, very dear friend. You two are the named people, and then it's a chaptered book. Yet you also, one thing also you do is you interview, don't you? You interview people, and you have a special name. I'm going to share, guys, I'm going to share a little bit of the feel for what it is that his show and his, what it is that he's been doing out there to touch the veterans, military families, first responders, and more. Here you go. Let's have some fun.
Welcome back to another episode of War Hero to Superhero, helping military veterans and first responders transform their lives from the prayer room to the boardroom.
So what gave you the idea of war hero to superhero? Tell us a little bit more about that. And then your branding, one of your shows, you talked about it changing a bit. And so tell us a little bit more of what it is that your message is and what type of interviews are you doing?
Well, what we go over and do is I used to have a show called Learn and Live, and that was a micro podcast that served in 5 minutes or less to service everybody from the prayer room to the boardroom. Well, I was trying to service all clients when I came out of active duty service, and it took me breaking my back in 2017 to realize who I needed to go over and serve, which was military veterans and first responders. So that morphed over to War Hero to Superhero because we need to make a transformation when we're in the service. So War Hero is all of us, no matter if we went down in Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, everything else, even the people that are going over and supporting, but we don't make that transformation. We become veteran because of the title, but we don't make that transformation. And we tend to stay where we're at. So War Heroes and Superheroes' goal is to help you transform from the prayer room to the boardroom, because we need to get it right. We transform in the most intimate place and then serve out of the public place instead of vice versa. I've seen so many marriages and families and just businesses destroyed because we do it backwards. So that's the reason why we go over and do that. And we uplift those military veterans, first responders, and patriots that are serving our community. And we do interviews, and then we do content and everything else. So some of the times I'm doing interviews, other times I'm doing content from the prayer room to the boardroom. I even allow co-hosts to come on with me to share that wisdom, because the goal is not Daniel Faust business. It's not. It is for a legacy to go over and to last and to have that transformation. So I did pivot a little bit. I used to do digital TV. That's how Tamara discovered me. I used to be a digital TV director a long time ago. but I pivoted back to YouTube and everything else to go over and to maximize my time with veteran transformation. So that's it in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it. And is there anybody that would like to say something to this and piggyback off of it? I have a feeling I may know someone that will. Are you going to? I see a bit of a smile. I'm going to put you in there if you're not. Okay, there you go. There's the smile. Doesn't that sound reminiscent of something that we did not long ago in
Yes.
Colorado, right?
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, because we put on an event, for the veterans out there, and it was a wonderful event for us. And that's what it's all about in life, is being able to serve others and help others. And that event just really blessed me, and it in more ways than one. And I tell the story that Don McGrath nominated me and told me that I was elected unanimously to be the MC of the event, and to be the speaker there for the Pathway for Events, and being able to oversee how the speakers were there. It was truly an honor. And a couple of people found out I was a Vietnam veteran because, I don't, the only thing I wear is the Vietnam Veteran Memorial Ring. I didn't want to put my finger out like that. My wife got me this, and it is a remembrance, and it means a lot to me. But I don't wear any type of, I was assigned to MACV, Team 90 and Team East, my last 6 months there. I served a total of 11 months and 9 days in Vietnam. These pictures are making me jump around a little bit, but I got medevaced out and shipped back to Fort Huachuca, Arizona in 1970. And I can relate to what was just said there, because when we came back, we were looked down upon, and I didn't understand it. We were just, no one in my hometown of Shelby, North Carolina treated me any differently. I was a little weird when I came back. I was a little weird before I left. So what's new, But I mean, that was to show the small towns how they really, embraced the people who served, men and women that served, that came back. They didn't look at us any differently. And my point being is that without any type of support, and I know the doctor's going to get into that a little bit, but without any type of support or someone to talk to, it's not an easy road to go down. And when I think about Memorial Day and what this show's about, I think about the men and women that gave their life for this country. I think about the families that have that empty chair at the table during the holidays, the pain that they feel. And I'd just like to share one final little thing. I never will forget the feeling, how it felt when the plane took off down the runway from Oakland, California, taking us to Vietnam, when it got airlifted. I remember exactly what went through my mind. Will I ever see America again? Because no one knew. We didn't know what we was getting into. No one could tell you. There was no crystal ball. There's definitely no training for what we, to prepare you there mentally. You can be physically trained, but never mentally. You're going to learn that on the job. And I know that the men and women who gave their lives for this great nation, they may have felt something similar. My son and I, we have a very special place. I served 31 years. He is closing in on 30 years. He just got promoted to Master Sergeant. So we're both Master Sergeants in the United States Army, except I got a document from the federal government that says now I was officially retired April the 15th, 2004. You got that right, retarded. Not retired, but retarded. Because I stayed in so long, and it was because of the men and women I served with wearing a uniform. Mm-hmm. One of the greatest privileges and honors I ever had in my life. And when I think about the men that I served with in Vietnam that did not see American soil again, they're forever young. You never forget them. Not only on Memorial Day, but other days. But also remember their families, because their pain and suffering goes on and on, day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year, until they meet them again. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. And I do have a video that was produced for that event, and I am going to share it because of the fact that it really does go hand in glove with what Daniel just was sharing also, and what the show is offering. And I said to write these things down if you know someone, because there are tips and there are people out there that are there to help you to transform from military life. And as Jim, you so well said, we are honoring those that are forever young today. However, we are also recognizing and honoring those that are serving and are about to transition into civilian life, that may have already gone into civilian life, and families, and the service animals too, as Joy has said. So we want to recognize that. Here is that video so you guys can think about too. What is it? And what is it that those military people that are transitioning into civilian life, what is it that they're going through? Because we're going to go into that next after this video, and then with our next panelist.
As a Vietnam vet, I know about problems because most veterans have not decided what it is that they want to do. Too many times, people and companies want to change the veterans' way of thinking to their way of thinking. The Pathway for Veterans program, it is designed to enable the veteran to determine what it is that they want to do, to help them bridge the gap, and most importantly, help them with their DNA. What is your destiny? How do you want your name known? And most importantly, who should you be associated with to be able to accomplish your goals? The Pathway for Vets assists military personnel, veterans, and spouses during transition, help them find a new life and a new career.
Thank you for your service, Jim. Thank you. And Daniel. All right, we're going to be going on. And the way we're going to start next is we're actually going to watch a clip that was done by a news agency that talks about our panelist, Kevin Russell, and what it is that he is doing and how he is making a difference. Here we go.
Well, he's a chimney sweeper by trade, a life changer by heart. Tonight on The Good Stuff, how this man who's never stepped foot on the military battlefield is riding in on horseback to give our veterans their lives back.
Come on, Sonny.
How old is Sonny?
Sonny's 14.
14.
Armed with a commercial vacuum and his incredibly compassionate personality, Kevin Russell has spent the last 20 years sweeping and fixing chimneys.
Tears me up is what it does.
I told you he was compassionate.
One of my curses and my blessings is to feel other people's pain. And I know what they're going through by the way they feel to me.
Extremely compassionate about one of the most mind-blowing statistics I feel to ever be released by Veterans Affairs. That on average, 22 veterans die each day from suicide.
One of the questions they ask when you're first in there is like, have you had thoughts of killing anybody or yourself? You know, and I'm like, well, yeah.
45-year-old Kevin Nixon says there's been many days where he felt like he could be number 23.
I just dealt with it for so long. It was just the normal. You don't really know that you're different.
And for the 6-year Army veteran, this is how it's been for years, ever since leaving the military in 1997.
You don't mention nothing. I mean, we were airborne unit. We're paratroopers. You don't say nothing. Where are you going?
Post-traumatic events he's now discovered he doesn't always have to talk about.
For the first time, they're 100% vulnerable when they step into the arena with the horse.
to win the battle against the never-ending war in his mind.
He wants a camera. I've never been around horses. I was actually a little scared of them.
The first-time Army veteran Kevin
And I can't even imagine what they go through.
met with chimney sweep Kevin. It was kind of a fluke in itself.
I don't know that I would say that I plotted it.
This Kevin needed some help with his new nonprofit.
He had asked me to do some photography for his advertising.
She did say her husband was a veteran, and I told her, well, I'd love to meet him.
That nonprofit, Warrior Horse, a therapy program that uses horses to help struggling veterans.
Just keep the head up.
Keep your head up, bro.
God had a bigger plan that I even saw.
A plan for Kevin, who made a quick bond with Jet, an 1,800-pound Percheron, who began helping him rebuild one of the biggest needs missing in his life.
There's trust there that they trust you, and of course you learn to trust them, and that's kind of a big thing.
And so was his relationship, a big thing, with his wife Beverly,
You could tell that something had changed.
who for years knew very little about what happened to her husband in 1993 while on a humanitarian mission in Mogadishu, Somalia.
We were in country, I guess, about a week or two, and we got in a major ambush.
Literally just weeks before the Battle of Mogadishu and the Black Hawk Down incident.
One of the biggest is the kids, just that they're armed and they're shooting at you too.
You don't want to watch the person that you love struggle, knowing that you don't even know why they're struggling or how to help that.
So it'll be an 80 by 200 enclosed arena.
So as this Kevin's horse therapy arena goes up, so has his dream of helping countless numbers of veterans.
You can see something in their eyes too. It's just kind of neat.
Suffering from the endless nightmares from serving our country.
I can handle the tears of joy, Doug. Absolutely. But it's been real for me for 5 years because every day since I got the calling, I pictured myself standing next to this round pen, watching somebody get their life back.
Okay. Did anybody else need to get your tissue out? Because I certainly did. Oh my goodness. Okay. And Kevin, first of all, thank you for being here on this special day and everything that you're doing. I was blown away when I first met you, and I got to meet you face to face. Which is not usually the way I get to meet people very first time. It's usually digital. And I actually met you at an event in Florida. Jason Cisneros was put it on, and we were recognized for the nonprofits that we run and shared a stage. And I was blown away with your heart and just everything about you. And it was like, okay, I'm adopting you. You're now my brother. you don't get to get away. And from there, watching what you do and feeling your spirit, I just want to say thank you for everything you do. I want to start with that. Next, I would love to know more about when you said you received the calling. What was that?
Well, I spent 8 years after I made a bond with the horse, which I knew was very transformational. Didn't know how I could use it. And I was in God's face finding out why I'm still breathing air. There's a reason you put me here. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help whoever you have for me. And after 8 years of shaking my fist, he finally got tired of it and said, here, this is what I have in mind. What do you got? So I went and got the entire chimney industry involved around the world. And we were able to get this thing together and start saving lives.
And you call it Warrior Horse.
Yes,
Tell us
ma'am.
about that. How did it get the name? And how did that come about?
Well, once again, with the chimney industry, everybody has people. And like I always say, I don't have to know everybody. God knows everybody. I know him. Problem solved. So I just put it out there, and they helped name the program, and they helped support the program financially so we could get the arena built. And we even do a project once a year now called Sweeps Week.
What is it called again?
Any projects that need to be done every year. It is Sweeps Week. Sweeps Week at Warrior Force.
Got it. And this is a performance that was done in that building, right?
That is correct. That the lead singer right there actually went through the program, and it's helped him tremendously. He's now up in Alaska. His wife is in the Air Force, and he's pursuing his musical career. But they came out and performed and practiced in the arena, so they could be around the horses and get some video shoots for us.
Excellent. Now and here it is. It was when you did the spot on the news video that we shared. It wasn't built yet, but now here it is. It's built, and you serve military, those with post-traumatic stress. You also serve others, right? Tell us about that.
Yes, ma'am. First responders as well. And the beauty of it is everything's here on our property. There's no red tape anywhere. The government has no say-so. And I'm free to help whoever God sends here. And it's not just the military and first responders. God sends other people here. And I have the ability to take the time to work with them and help save their lives as well.
And okay, so I found this image, and I just had to include it because I thought, okay, here we go. What is the joy of a child's face, the joy of being on that huge animal? I think that it just shares right there in one image how they've got to be feeling inside, right?
Oh, absolutely. And this is a little girl that had came out and spent a day with her family just to be around the horses. And I love sharing my ability to communicate with the horses with other people. And she actually got to ride on old Blue before Blue got put down for cancer.
Oh.
What? Oh, thank you for your service, old Blue. And Joy is asking, where is this place? Where is your location there, Warrior Horse?
We're just like 8 minutes south of Shreveport, Louisiana, in Frierson.
And should someone be interested, someone that would fit and say, I'm feeling called, my family member, myself, whatever they may be thinking, I've served, I'm struggling, this sounds interesting to me, what is it like? You are a nonprofit, and so is there a charge for them, for that person that's struggling? Is there a charge for them to come?
Everybody that comes has already paid their price. When they said I do and I'll serve, that's all they ever have to pay. And once again, the finance is not my problem. It's God's program. That's his problem. It's up to him to provide us the funds that are needed. And he certainly has not gone astray from that.
Thank you. Is there someone that would like to say something here on the panel? Anybody would like to piggyback off of this?
Well, Kevin, I'm just very impressed with what you do and your attitude there, because, I love it, the fact that a lot of people don't realize that when you, in your heart, you make a commitment, you're going to serve others. Everything else takes care of it itself. It really does. All the small things fall into place. I love the fact that if someone needs to come there, all they got to do is just show up. And horses are a wonderful thing. Goodness, we're so blessed to have, horses, and even dogs for that matter. Animals are just such comfort animals. And I remember saying one time, we were talking about dogs on a show, and I says, And you imagine what a wonderful world this world would be if everyone had the heart of a dog. And I got everybody kind of laughing at me because I said I'd also appreciate if I had the brains of a dog, be smart enough, you know. And I thought it was a joke. A couple people took me seriously, but sincerely, Kevin, getting back to what you're doing there, I really do. I want to salute you, brother. I really do, because that took a lot of courage, and you stepped out and you made it happen. And I got to salute you on that one. And I really appreciate what you're doing, brother.
Thank you. And I appreciate you serving as well.
Well, thank you.
And Daniel, you too, my friend.
Yeah.
Daniel, would you like to say something?
I had an actual question about that. So you get down to the property. So if I refer my veterans and everything else, is it hospitality? Like if they come down there, or is it just coming for the day? I mean, what does a typical veteran look like? If I drove down to Shreveport, Louisiana, which is outside Barksdale Air Force Base, not too far, what does my day look like, and what is the type of therapy? Because I've been on equine therapy at other places. I'm just curious on what's the difference between your model down there compared to other models. So then a veteran knows what it looks like as a day there, or even if they come down for several days.
So it's actually a 3-day program. We fly them in, we take care of all their expenses, put them up at a hotel here in Shreveport, and provide the transportation back and forth from them. The first day they fly in, we bring them out to meet the horses and just kind of get familiar with the atmosphere that they're going to be spending the time with. The next day, we'll bring them out, and they actually go through a PowerPoint presentation in the classroom where I'm sitting right now. And then they go out there and have a one-on-one encounter with the horse until the point of breakthrough on the trust part of the horse and the veteran, which is a emotional experience to say the least, but it's also physical, mental, and spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third day?
And the third day, we usually visit with them, and then they'll end up going back to the airport or driving home. So the magic doesn't take long. I can get any of you 4 out here, and probably within 30 minutes have you go through the experience that they do in the round pen. But there's a lot of things that we teach them and give them tools to take with them to be able to trust others and start building relationships again. And I'm sure Jim and Daniel understand that part very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. A lot of my veterans do struggle with all different types of things and whatnot, from PTSD to anxiety to depression and things of that nature. And it's very, very difficult the internet's one of the hardest and most beautiful things. The internet's beautiful because there's a website created every 3 to 4 seconds. I used to be IT. But the problem of it is that there's a website created every 3 to 4 seconds to find this type of opportunities. And even though there's roughly 60,000 nonprofits in the veteran space, I never knew this one existed. I knew there was one in Maryland and those types of things. So that is huge to go over and have that transformational experience. So I will definitely love to have you on my show to interview, to maximize getting the reach out there, because you're one of our fellow patriots that are serving our community, because that is the beautiful thing about this world. But like at the same thing, I want to get that message out there.
Excellent.
Well, absolutely. And the great thing is you can just come out here and be part of it. So you can actually get the experience yourself. And
well,
like
if I ride
said,
a horse, I might die. So you might have to bring my thing to heaven. I mean, I'll share you a funny story about horses and me. So I finally do a honeymoon years later. I finally have enough revenue. You know, you have those seasons of like you're poor and then you're rich and then you're poor and you're rich. I could go on forever for that. Well, I was rich for that moment. We did a real honeymoon. We went out to the Bahamas and everything else. And I wanted the slow horse. I wanted the dilapidated horse. I wanted to really like ghetto fabulous horse that would just basically drag me. No, we get into the water and my horse is going WW nom speed. It was so quick. I couldn't keep up. I thought I was going to fall out and everything else. And my wife gets the horse that is lazy as junk. And she's like, you have fun? I said, yeah, I almost died and fell in the water like 3 times. I'm like, and every time I try to ride a horse, I get the one that I need the one that's like really slow. I drive grandpa speed on the highway, I need a grandpa type horse. So if you got a grandpa horse, I might survive. If not, I'm going to Jesus. I just don't know. I'd be willing to come out, but you might as well get that on video so it goes viral. Be like, yeah, the veteran transmission coach dies from woo. I mean, so
that's
So
funny.
you got
That's
a horse with training wheels is what he wants you to know.
It's horse with training wheels. That's good.
I got the
Dr.
Mustang.
Barbara,
I
you were
always
going to
find the
say
Mustang
something?
horses.
well, just that, yeah. Oh, and thank you, Kevin, and all of you. I'm so impressed with all of your programs. And again, I deal with resilience after loss, and all animals are so healing. But yeah, there's something really special about horses because they're just so big, but they're also gentle. And I've had some great, I love horseback riding, and I've actually ridden and gone swimming bareback, like on a horse and things like that. It's a very special feeling, but that connection, it's healing. The connection is very healing when you let yourself open up to animals. And all of you, thank you for all of you, what you do for others and veterans. I'm not a veteran myself, but my first husband, my oldest son was in the Army ROTC high school and college, and had already passed his written aviation test. He was going to be an Army pilot and commit God knows how many years to the Army when he died in a motorcycle accident. And but anyway, I'm so, oh yeah, there he is. That's Brent. And I'm so impressed by all of it. It's really wonderful. And so many things are visceral and hard to explain. And I think your work with horses is one of them. It's just, it's so powerful. And yeah, anyway, we'll talk more about it.
Well, you know, and I'm glad that you shared that, and you shared a little bit about what it is that you're doing. And in fact, what I have right now is I do have a video that explains a little bit more. Let's watch that of what Dr. Barbara has been up to and is doing to serve others. And then we're going to talk about that. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
A stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, because we don't want your broken parts.
I'm Barbara J. Hopkinson, President and Executive Director of A Butterfly's Journey to a New Normal, a nonprofit helping grievers.
I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust.
The name of my organization, A Butterfly's Journey to a New Normal. The first part of that was the title of my first book is A Butterfly's Journey. And it's because it was written about my journey and the fact that butterflies are an international symbol of transition.
I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious.
A transition of our children from a physical to a spiritual life, and ourselves, you know, their parents and their families, transition from a life with them to a new life without them. And that's where, when I added the second part of To a New Normal, that's really what it's about.
When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a blood, gonna drown a mind. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me.
You can find out more about the organization and the work we do at abutterfliesjourney.org.
Thank you for what it is that you do. And we brought you on. This is Memorial Day weekend, guys, you know, and there are those that are out there that are like, yeah, I can relate with what you're sharing. You know, that grief, that missing, I miss you, that one image of your son, you know, that's your son. That's the one that says miss you. That's the one that's here sharing it for his brother and others, right?
Yeah, and the interesting thing was I sent, because that's my photo book called Faces of Resilience for these photo shoots that I do. And I sent about 200 photos to the publisher, And she chose that, having no idea that this is my remaining son, who's alive now and a chef and owns his own restaurant. She had no idea that he was connected to me at all when she chose that photo for the front cover.
I did
Which
not
is
know
pretty
that.
interesting. Yeah.
I did not know that. And it's so appropriate. And what you do, because you go out there, you speak to a lot of different people all over. And in your credentialed, you have programs, you do all the things to help with grief management, to, on and on and on, right? And then you have this photo situation also, that you go out to these events and you help people to get that message, similar to what was shared about Kevin and the vet not needing to speak but can go out next to the big large animal, and they had that connection. It's the same thing also, that when they write these words on themselves, right? And then they're photographed. Tell us about that.
So just briefly, I ran a support group for families that had lost a child, grandchild, or sibling for 20 years as part of a chapter of the Compassionate Friends, which is the largest grief organization in the world. Every cause and every any type or cause, and that included a lot of people that had lost family and military. But then A Butterfly's Journey, which was the second nonprofit I started, has three main things. It's a free online resource center. I'm certified. I've got an advanced certification to teach grief recovery method classes, which are the only evidence-based methodology in the world for grief. And it's only a 7-week course. I do it over Zoom unless somebody's close enough to do it in person. And then the third thing that is my real passion is something I call Faces of Resilience. And it's about open expression around grief, loss, and love. So we literally go, with the photographer, myself, a backdrop, lights, and we do photo shoots at events related to grief. And I want so much. I tried to get into TAPS. I want so much to do more of this with military. So if any of you folks do like events with this kind of thing, with related to military, I'd really love to be involved. But anyway, we go, and what I do is we encourage people to express themselves about their grief, because it's so hard to talk in our culture about grief. And whatever they want to say, I write it on their skin with a washable marker. And then we take their photo. And it might be individuals, couples, families, with or without pets, multiple photos. It doesn't matter. We'll do whatever they want. And then we professionally edit and send it to them so that it's a catalyst for them to talk about their grief with family and friends. And it's very healing, because talking is just about it is really one of the most healing things you can do. And it's hard. And my first husband was a Vietnam veteran. And he was actually overseas 3 times, but a year in Vietnam and Thailand, and then half a year in Thailand, and then I think 4 months in another location. And it had a dramatic impact. And he was not welcomed at all when he came back. Not at all. Just the opposite. He suffered a lot from that.
And this is this picture here. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that you did these photo shoots. And you did this beautiful photo shoot with this amazing husband of yours. And then shortly thereafter, what happened?
He passed away. I actually found that photo the night he died. He died when a widowmaker heart attack on his way to work. We had tickets for a show that night. It was sudden. So basically, I've lost 3 children, my 21-year-old and 2 babies, and my husband, and the sight in my right eye. So I've been, and an infant brother, and both parents. So I've been through all kinds of loss, so I can help people. I can relate to the kind of grief that they go through. And even though I wasn't in the military, I've certainly been around a lot of military in my family and otherwise that I can certainly empathize. But yeah, he was interesting. He was same height as Larry Bird. He was 6'9". And so he was bent over me, and we said, take nothing for granted. And I found that photo the night he died, which is kind of interesting, because he was just one of the shoots that I was doing locally that he happened to be at. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I want to say thank you for what it is that you do, and you've come on a few times now on different shows, and
I love your shows.
Make yourself available, to speak to those, because it's always been a situation where maybe a topic where it's appropriate to hear. And the thing that really gets me, that I just absolutely adore about you, is that, guys, if you're not feeling it, feel it. Feel her love. Feel the fact that she shared how much she's been through. And yet she's sharing the love with all of you right now. and that we can get through this. We are stronger together when we band together, and the tools that are being shared right now with all of you.
Yeah, and I just want to thank everybody on this day, for all veterans and active military, on all of you for your service. I mean, I'm just so in awe of that and so grateful for it.
Thank you. I have a video I want to share right now. It's a video to kind of like say thank you to all of those that have served throughout the dawn of day, if you will. Even I know that there are many that can say, you know, maybe not even in this generation, but I had a relative that did serve in this situation, this war, this world war, back when the United States was first founded. There are many that are connected, and we want to today remember and honor all the families that have come from those people that may have served generations ago or that are serving currently, and those that support, because you know what, we're all in this together. And even if you haven't, San Diego Navy family, though I have never raised my hand to serving, I have a pin on right now that my mother would wear to events to go with my stepfather, who was in the Navy Reserves, a commander in the Navy Reserves. So am I proud to wear this?
Sure.
Yes. Have I served? I do now. We are right now, because we're honoring all of you. Let's watch this, and then we're going to open it up for the balance of the show, because I want to hear from our panel. I'd like to open it up to everyone here. Thank you, Skip. Appreciate that. And Skip comes from a family of grew up in a family where military was his military father. Many have, and many have those stories. What would you like to? We've got about, let's say, 8 minutes left, 7 to 8 minutes left. What would you like, each of you like to share as we start to close up? Okay, Jim got his hand up first, and then Daniel goes after Jim. Okay, Jim, go ahead.
That's a nice way of saying the oldest and the ugliest goes first. But really, the thing that I really got out of this, especially, listening to, about the horses and all, and what you do there, my goodness. The thing we want to let everyone know, not only people that serve, that suffer from PTSD, because the families who lost their loved ones, they're going through the same type of things that the soldiers do, as well as many other people who have suffered abuse in their life. The animals, they accept you for who you are. That's extremely important, because you can just be yourself with an animal. And they're going to pick up on your energy of who you really are deep down inside. You don't even have to explain it to them. And I'm just really, that opened up my eyes. I mean, I kind of knew that already, but it's the horses and the way that you covered that, my goodness. I was just blown away by it. I really was. And, when you talked about, Barbara, and you talked about your husband having a widowmaker heart attack. That's one of my passions, because I had a widowmaker heart attack, and I didn't have any previous symptoms.
Only 1%. Only 1% survived that.
It's a silent killer. I mean, my blood pressure was always 120 something over, 68 to 74. Low bad cholesterol was always. The year before was at 73. I landed in a hospital that night. My blood pressure was 190 over 111.
Wow.
But I knew I was going to be okay. And sometimes in life, and this is where I'm going with this, sometimes in life, when you know you're going to be okay, that's good enough for you at that moment. Mm-hmm. It's like eating a meal. You take it one bite at a time. That's all you should need. And I remember I was kind of joking around with the nurse when she put something in the IV. I said, "You gonna give me something to get me high, give me a cheap thrill?" And the other nurse says, "I don't think you realize what a serious condition you're in. You could have a heart attack or stroke." And I looked at her and I says, "Well, you don't have to be so optimistic about it." And she got mad and took off. I'm talking about,
humor.
But getting back to the horses and all that, and what they can do for you, that's extremely important, because that's the one thing that everybody needs to connect to in their hour of need. They need to have something that they can communicate, show love to, and get love back. Because that's what love does. When you reflect, love gets reflected back on you when you project it. It really does. And I encourage people to, everywhere, if you're listening to this, reach out and get involved. I mean, goodness.
Yeah.
Daniel, you've got a great organization too, and what you've done there, brother. And I really do appreciate what you're doing there.
Thank you.
And folks, just remember on Memorial Day, the family and the friends, they're suffering just like we all have.
Yeah.
Just like we all do.
Thank you, Jim.
Daniel, you're next, my man.
Yep.
Jim, you're the oldest is because you were born before me. I think I'm old and more of the mind than you are.
Yeah.
I'm the one that plays curling, and I've been wanting to play since my teens. So I do old things. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted to thank you all guys for coming on the show. Thank you for uplifting each other. I want to challenge the audience. So I know this is foreign and most people don't carry this more, but this is a penny. I would challenge you to get as many pennies as you can. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. Barbecues, those types of things. I know those things are going to happen, but take that time to go out to a cemetery near you and go try to see if you can find a veteran plot in there. Maybe you use your cell phone to go over and to Google it, the name and everything else, and see if you can find some information. Every time there's a penny on there, it's you left a prayer or remembrance in there. If it's a nickel, it's usually you're a service member. If it's a dime, that means you work with a member, like in the same battalion, whatever it is. So I'm taking out my daughters tomorrow and going over and teaching them that we need to honor our veterans and those people that celebrate each year or honor or mourn I want to help break the negative stigma, because when I lost my brother, I was 15. The negative anniversary came up so often, and it was around Memorial Day when he died. So it's a couple of days from now, it will be. The only way we can break that negative stigma is to go over and to help those people break through that. So knowing that they're still reflective and loved and everything else, this is a sign of that. So overload your thoughts and prayers through pennies on those tombstones. Go over and overwhelm these people with love so they can be transformed and stop celebrating the negative anniversary, because the negative anniversary just erodes us anyway. And our loved ones would not have, if they could speak to us, or when we get to heaven, they're going to be like, hey, you know, I went to Jesus. Don't be wasting the time. Go over and love others. So I challenge you to go over and just, even if it's a few pennies, I know it might be hard to find and the banks ain't open, but scrounge your couches, go over and ask people, find a bunch of pennies, go out there, even if it's for an hour, take some time, leave some prayers for people so they can go over, and those families that reflect back and go see how much they're loved. And even if it's from somebody they don't know, they will go over and grow for them. So just a challenge.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to give a minute now. We're getting to that point. So a minute, and then we're going to end with Kevin. So, Dr. Barbara, what would you like to share?
I would say the top 3 things after 10 years, and I wrote my first book, A Butterfly's Journey, was really about, number 1, trust your gut rather than everybody's opinion about what you need. Number 2, helping others helps you heal, no matter what you do or what it relates to, or whether it relates to their death or not. And then it's all about the love. And really, if you focus on that and trust, I have proven to myself that all of our spirits continue, and trust that your loved one is still with you in spirit, no matter what. And honest to God, and sometimes if you just get some quiet time, you can feel it. But please trust that. And I'm happy to talk to anybody, like for free. You can get my phone number from Tamara.
Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Absolutely. Kevin.
Well, thank each one of y'all for what you do and for serving our country. I, too, am not a veteran. My father was for 27 years. My daughter's a Marine. My son-in-law's a Marine. But what I can do is I can serve and give back with the blessings God allowed me to do, which is to communicate with horses and people in a very non-judgmental way. That's the only way the program works. The horses are non-judgmental. My staff are all volunteers. There's no money that goes out for any salaries. And every one of them is non-judgmental, just as well as the horses. So, and Daniel, contrary to popular belief, there is no horseback riding at Warrior Horse. It's just all based on the relationship and the bond that's created within the round pen in the arena.
Oh, so I'd be dragged around. Okay, understood.
Yes. Or trampled.
Upon that. You know, I want to say thank you to all of our panelists today, and I want to say thank you to our digital audience that has been sharing throughout. Thank you to our production team here at the Let's Talk Fab show, and most importantly, thank you to those that we are honoring and remembering, because it is because of you that your bravery, that we are the land of the free. With that, we will be back next week. Thank you, and make it an amazing and safe Memorial Day weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.